Ladies pop your pussy like this. Shake your body, don't stop, don't miss. All you ladies pop your pussy like this. Shake your body, don't stop, don't miss. Just do it, 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 do it now. Lick it good, suck this just like you should. Right now, lick it good, suck this just like you should. My neck, my back, lick my pussy and my crack. My neck.
Dude, you just touched Christy Boner's hoo-hoo.
Shippy!
Low five.
Yeah. Let's get out of here.
And we're back. I don't know why. I wasn't going to, but oh my goodness, I had so many requests. The fans were clamoring. I thought, oh my God. Then I started a live stream, and then I didn't make it public. I had one all ready to go, and I turned it on, and it said private. So I had to end it, and then I had to create a whole new one, because the one I usually have sitting there waiting to go live, like just in case for emergencies, I have one sitting there waiting. I had it set for private. All I had to do is switch it to public, and I didn't switch to public when I started it. So I was sitting there, I was going 0 people, 0 people. I was like, what? And I looked, and it said set for private. So, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Let's do this for the people. For the people. This is for you. Let me just play a little bit of this. Give me 2 seconds to get combobulated. Even if you just want to come say hello. Hello. The fans. Yes. The fans. People were clamoring. I felt I wasn't going to. Then I got a message from the Vicarious one, and she said, go live, go live. And then Nicole texted me and said, you must go live. V sent me 10 emails and said, if you don't go live, I don't know what I'll do with myself. So that's none of that's true. But anyways, let's do this. Give me 2. And we're back. Oh my goodness. What messages, TJ? What are you talking about? Something on the news? Something big happening? Feel like something's up? Let me know. So what do you guys want to do? Oh my goodness. I was not going to go live. Then I don't know if you heard me at the beginning. I had a live ready and I hit it. I had it set for private. All I had to do is switch to public and start it. And it was all perfectly ready. And I started it before I set it to public. So it was private. And then I had to end it and it disappeared. So I had to make a whole other one. You just did what? Okay, so the Dale Werner trial, you can screen it with no worries. Where is it? Okay. Okay. Thank you, TJ. Is it interesting? So I look up WTOL 11. Let's see if TJ is coming through here. Let's try this for TJ. 1 second. WTOL 11 YouTube channel. Boom. Let's go there. See what TJ's talking about. Are they live? Which one is it? Oh, so you said, this looks good. Yeah. Is it a new trial? Something we can get into? I could do that because I do enjoy like watching these and then talking with you guys. Which one, TJ? Yeah, I see what you said, TJ. Which one? Go to day one. Perfect, TJ. Awesome. You're great. Where's day one? Dale Werner. Okay. And I'll turn it on and then we'll get an update. What's going on here? The D Werner case. Does it say day one? The trial. So I guess I go back to the very first one or something. Oh my gosh. I don't even know. I'm looking at probably says trial, right? Murder trial. D Werner case. 7 days of testimony. I don't know which one to go to. TJ. Go to day one. How do I see day one? Am I missing something here? There's like 50 of them. The D Werner case. That's like 7 hours of stuff. Do you want me to watch the recap or something first? There's a recap. Day 3, trial day 3 recap. So let's find the recap for day 1, and then we'll decide. I don't even know any idea what's going on here. These aren't labeled that great. So it's not back that far. So it just said there was a recap for day 1, day 3. So where would the day 1 and 2s be? Rulings? Oh my God. I have no idea. But okay, TJ, can you please tell me which one day 1 is? I would gladly do that. That's what I'm looking for. How do I know which one's day 1? Where? Rulings and motions? The D Werner case. Is this it? When did it start? That's day 3, so that's not it. Okay, so I'll go back to the other ones. That's got to be day 1 here. This. Oh my God. This has to be day 1 here. The whole thing, that's like a long thing, 7 hours. Everything says day 3. Okay, that would be good because if there's a recap, so we can get a little update because these are like long. I mean, it looks great. Thank you so much. I just have no idea what I'm doing here, but I will gladly put that on. Day 3 recap. Be great to see a day. Final motions. Cool. Anyways, yeah, this looks interesting. they're getting some views. So people are interested. I never even heard of it. So, hey, Louise, what's up? I'll say hi to everybody. Peggy, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Anything on your mind, Peggy? What's up, Louise? V is here. Mimi's here. Oh my goodness, Critter's here. Mm-mm-mm. Who else? V is again here. TJ, Mimi, Nicole is going to take some meds or something and drink some coffee. Carol, what's up? Shibby's here. Sweet dude, what's up, bro? Who else we got? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Let me just go back. Let me go back. I don't know. Where is that young man? Shake and ship it. Yes. I don't know. Where is Charles? I'll message him and say, come here now. People demand you come. Oh, let me see. He's probably lurking. I don't know. He's one of my biggest fans. I know that. I'm such an idiot. I had a live stream ready to go. I started it and I sat here just like myself. I was waiting and I was watching my intro and I'm thinking, usually there's a minute or two in, there's like at least one or two people. Help V. Uh-oh. I'll just keep trying them until we find the right one because it's got to be, how is there a recap for day one? Maybe they have playlists? Weather. No. Don't look like it. Oh, no, I thought it was trial. No. So is it their live streams or videos? Let me check their videos. Nope. A lot of sports there. You sent me a link? Where? Where did you send? Who did you send a link to? Okay, I see it. Okay, I see it. No worries. I thought you were asking her to help you. I got it. Thank you, TJ. Perfect. Thank you. I missed it. I know you guys want to believe I'm perfect. Sad to say. Here it is. TJ. Opening. Oh, beautiful. Let's do this. So should we give us a quick update of okay, we're ready to do it. I'll get rid of their chat. We don't need to see it. Everything's perfect. So is there a quick update? How about this? I'll play it and anybody who has good updates, I'll highlight them as to what we're about to see. I got it, V. I got it. Thank you.
Enhanced photograph. So I just wanted to make that clear on the record. So there will not be an issue. It's a still from a body cam.
All right.
Thank you.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, and I would indicate that the discussion with respect to that text message is accurate. I did indicate that text message, in my opinion, is not hearsay because it was not being offered for the truth of the matters asserted in that statement. I do recognize that it did involve two levels of hearsay, but I think that the answer is the same regardless. The text is not being used to establish the truth of the matters in those statements. Is there anything else we need to address on the record before we bring our hearing?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Instructions that I am going to read to you. You may refer to them during the trial. Since no one can predict the course of a trial, these instructions may change at the end of the trial. At the close of the trial, I will provide you with a copy of my final instructions for your use during deliberations. Now I will explain to you some of the legal principles you will need to know and the procedure that we will follow in this trial. The defendant is charged with the crime of open murder. If you find the defendant guilty of murder, you must state in your verdict whether it is murder in the first degree or murder in the second degree. The defendant is charged with the crime of first degree premeditated murder. To prove this charge, the prosecutor must prove each of the following elements beyond a reasonable doubt. First, that the defendant caused the death of Deanne Warner. That is, that Deanne Warner died as a result of blunt force trauma and or strangulation. Second, that the defendant intended to kill Deanne Warner. Third, that this intent to kill was premeditated. That is, thought out beforehand. Fourth, that the killing was deliberate, which means that the defendant considered the pros and cons of the killing and thought about and chose his actions before he did it. There must have been real and substantial reflection for long enough to give a reasonable person a chance to think twice about the intent to kill. The law does not say how much time is needed. It is for you to decide if enough time passed under the circumstances of this case. The killing cannot be the result of a sudden impulse without thought or reflection. You may also consider the lesser charge of second-degree murder. To prove this charge, the prosecutor must prove each of the following elements beyond a reasonable doubt. First, that the defendant caused the death of Deanne Warner. That is, that Deanne Warner died as a result of blunt force trauma and or strangulation. Second, that the defendant had one of these three states of mind. He intended to kill, or he intended to do great bodily harm to Deanne Warner, or he knowingly created a very high risk of death or great bodily harm, knowing that death or such harm would be the likely result of his actions. You must think about all of the evidence in deciding what the defendant's state of mind was at the time of the alleged killing. The defendant's state of mind may be inferred from the kind of weapon used, the type of wounds inflicted, the acts and words of the defendant, and any other circumstances surrounding the alleged killing. Premeditation and deliberation may be inferred from any actions of the defendant which show planning, or from any other circumstances surrounding the killing. The prosecutor need not prove a motive for the killing, but you may consider evidence of motive in deciding if there was premeditation and deliberation. Motive by itself does not prove premeditation and deliberation. The defendant is charged in count 2 with tampering with evidence. The defendant is charged with intentionally removing, altering, concealing, destroying, or tampering with evidence to be offered at an official proceeding. To prove this charge, the prosecutor must prove each of the following elements beyond a reasonable doubt. First, that there was some evidence to be offered in a present or future official proceeding. An official proceeding is a hearing held before a legislative, judicial, administrative, or other governmental agency, or a hearing before an official authorized to hear evidence under oath, including a referee, prosecuting attorney, a hearing examiner, commissioner, a notary, or another person taking testimony in a proceeding. Second, that the defendant removed, altered, concealed, destroyed, or otherwise tampered with that evidence. Third, that when the defendant removed, altered, concealed, destroyed, or otherwise tampered with that evidence, he did so on purpose and not by accident. Fourth, that the evidence that the defendant removed, altered, concealed, destroyed, or otherwise tampered with was used or intended to be used in a criminal case where open murder homicide was charged. The prosecutor must also prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the crime occurred on or about April 25, 2021 within Lenawee County. You may consider whether the defendant had a reason to commit the alleged crime, but a reason by itself is not enough to find a person guilty of a crime. The prosecutor does not have to prove that the defendant had a reason to commit the alleged crime. She only has to show that the defendant actually committed the crime and that he meant to do so. The defendant's intent may be proved by what he said, what he did, how he did it, or by any other facts and circumstances in evidence. A person accused of a crime is presumed to be innocent. This means that you must start with the presumption that the defendant is innocent. This presumption continues throughout the trial and entitles the defendant to a verdict of not guilty unless you are satisfied beyond a reasonable doubt that he is guilty. Every crime is made up of parts called elements. The prosecutor must prove each element of the crime beyond a reasonable doubt. The defendant is not required to prove his innocence or to do anything. If you find that the prosecutor has not proven every element beyond a reasonable doubt, then you must find the defendant not guilty. A reasonable doubt is a fair, honest doubt growing out of the evidence or the lack of evidence. It is not merely an imaginary or possible doubt, but a doubt that is based on reason and common sense. A reasonable doubt is just that, a doubt that is reasonable after a careful and considered examination of the facts and circumstances of this case. A trial follows this procedure. First, the prosecutor makes an opening statement where they give their theories about the case. The defendant's lawyer does not have to make an opening statement, but she may make an opening statement after the prosecutor makes theirs, or may wait until later. These statements are not evidence. They are only meant to help you understand how each side views the case. Next, the prosecutor presents their evidence. Prosecutors may call witnesses to testify and may show you exhibits like documents or objects. The defendant's lawyer has a right to cross-examine the prosecutor's witnesses. After the prosecutor has presented all of their evidence, the defendant's attorneys may also offer evidence, but they do not have to. By law, the defendant does not have to prove his innocence or produce any evidence. If the defense does call witnesses, the prosecutor has the right to cross-examine them. The prosecutor may also call witnesses to contradict the testimony of the defense witnesses. After all of the evidence has been presented, the prosecutor and the defendant's lawyer will make their closing arguments. Like the opening arguments, these are not evidence. They're only meant to help you understand the evidence and the way that each side sees the case. You must base your verdict only on the evidence. My responsibilities as the judge in this trial are to make sure that the trial is run fairly and efficiently, to make decisions about evidence, and to instruct you about the law that applies to this case. You must take the law as I give it to you. Nothing I say is meant to reflect my own opinions about the facts of the case. As jurors, you are the ones who will decide the case. Your responsibility as jurors is to decide what the facts of the case are. This is your job and no one else's. You must think about all of the evidence and all the testimony and then decide what each piece of evidence means and how important you think it is. This includes how much you believe what each of the witnesses said. What you decide about any fact in this case is final. Part of your job in deciding what the facts of this case are is to decide which witnesses you believe and how important you think that their testimony is. You do not have to accept or reject everything a witness says. You are free to believe all, none, or part of any person's testimony. In deciding which testimony you believe, you should rely on your own common sense and everyday experience. However, in deciding whether you believe a person's testimony, you must set aside any bias or prejudice you may have based on the witness's race, national origin or ethnicity, gender, gender identity or sexual orientation, or religion, age, or socioeconomic status. There is no fixed set of rules for judging whether you believe a witness, but it may help you to think about these questions. Was the witness able to see or hear clearly? How long was the witness watching or listening? Was there anything else going on that might have distracted the witness? Does the witness seem to have a good memory? How does the witness look and act while testifying? Does the witness seem to be making an honest effort to tell the truth? Or does the witness seem to evade questions or argue with the lawyers? Does the witness's age or maturity level affect how you judge his or her testimony? Does the witness have any bias or prejudice or any personal interest in how this case is decided? Have there been any promises, threats, suggestions, or other influences that affect how the witness testifies? In general, does the witness have any special reason to tell the truth or any special reason to lie? All in all, how reasonable does the witness's testimony seem when you think about all of the other evidence in this case? When it is time for you to decide the case, you are only allowed to consider the evidence that was admitted in this case. Evidence includes only the sworn testimony of witnesses, the exhibits admitted into evidence, and anything else I tell you to consider as evidence. The questions the lawyers ask the witnesses are not evidence. Only the answers are evidence. You should not think that something is true just because one of the lawyers asks questions that assumes or suggests that it is. I may ask some of the witnesses questions myself. These questions are not meant to reflect my opinion about the evidence. If I ask questions, my only reason would be to ask about things that may not have been fully explored. During the trial, you may think of an important question that would help you understand the facts in this case. You are allowed to ask such questions. You should wait to ask questions until after a witness has finished testifying and both sides have finished their questioning. If you still have an important question after this, do not ask it yourself. Raise your hand, write the question down, and pass it to court staff, who will then give it to me. Do not show your question to any of the other jurors. If your question is not asked, it's because I determined that under the law, the question should not be asked. Do not speculate about why the question was not asked. In other words, you should draw no conclusions or inferences about the facts of the case, nor should you speculate about what the answer might have been. Also, in considering the evidence, you should not give greater weight to testimony merely because it was given in answer to questions submitted by members of the jury. If you cannot hear something that is said or presented, or if you cannot see a witness or evidence, please raise your hand immediately. During the trial case, including investigational experiments using the internet, Mr. McCreedy, before you begin, I would just ask you to remember you need to stay at the podium in front of the microphone so that your voice is quite unequal.
Yes, we'll do. Good morning.
Good morning.
Now we get to start what we're here for. This is D. Warner. April 24, 2021, she went home to tell her husband, the defendant, that the marriage was over, they were selling their businesses, and they were through. She was never seen or heard from again.
August 17, 2024, over 3 years later, she was found in an anhydrous ammonia fertilizer tank, dead. How did she die? Well, the medical examiner examined her body. She had been strangled. She had blunt force trauma to her face and head. Her face and neck were wrapped in duct tape. She was in her pajamas, wrapped in a tarp, welded into a tank. Now, she was born Dee Hardy. She was born into the Hardy family. She was first married, before she was married to the defendant, to Tim Bock, and the two of them had 4 kids. You'll hear from 3 out of the 4 will testify. In order, from oldest to youngest, Amber, TJ, Zach, and Raquel. At the time of April 24, 2021, all 4 kids were adults. You'll hear that Dee and Dale worked together at a company called Prop Production Services. They each got divorced from their spouses, got married, and they had a child together named Angelina. In April 2021, Angelina was 9 years old. Dale had also been married to Julie Warner. That couple had 4 kids who were also all adults in April of 2021. And their names are Jenica, Mackenzie, Jaron, and Cameron. You may hear testimony from some of them. After Dee and Dale got married, they started a business or several businesses together at a farm that they owned at Munger and Carson Highways. The businesses were called War Egg Farms, War Egg Farm Services, and DDW Trucking. They farmed thousands of acres. They provided chemicals and other farming supplies to local farms. And they did over-the-road heavy trucking to all places in Michigan and in Ohio. Dale did the farming, and Dee basically ran the office. There's going to be a lot of testimony about the Munger property. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time to show you the property that we're talking about, the different buildings, so you're familiar with that as you hear the testimony. I understand that you're sitting far away, so I've blown this up as big as I could possibly do that. But you will get, for all these things that you're going to see, you will get physical exhibits as the witnesses testify. So you'll be able to hold those in your hand and see them up close. But you see here, this is a 2020 overview. This is the closest in time that we have to April of 2021. And you'll see at the bottom edge, that's Munger Road. So the farm is to the north of Munger Road. This is another view that we will use fairly often throughout the course of this trial. We've got the buildings numbered because other than the house, which is number 3, people use different names for different buildings. But right there at the southern edge, building number 3, that's the house. That's where Dale and Dee lived. They had bedrooms for the kids, even though they were adults. This all takes place on this property. That's the back of the house. It's where everybody came and went from, parked in front of. That's the view from the road. That's the garage. Okay, that building to the west, number 1, I'm going to refer to it as the old shop. There's several witnesses refer to it as the old shop. That's where the mechanic would work on the farming equipment and the semi-trailers. This is a view from the porch of the house, and you see that building. That's the old shop, just to give you an idea of the perspective and the distance between these buildings. It's a shot from inside the old shop. Okay, moving on to building number 2. That building stored dry chemicals, dry fertilizer, etc., in bays inside what we would call the dry barn or the dry fertilizer barn. That's a picture from inside the barn. You can kind of see the bays there. They're not real important to this case, but that implement, that farm implement is important. That's a front end loader. You'll hear it referred repeatedly as the JCB. And you can see initials JCB on the front end loader. Okay, the building facing north and south, that's building number 5. I know it's hard to see the numbers on these. That is, I'm going to be referring to that as the new shop. Several employees also refer to that as the new shop. There's a side view, and you can see these large overhead doors. So they had bays, so they could drive large farm implements and other machinery in there to get out of the weather or to be worked on. Okay, number 6 there at the bottom is the office. This is where the office employees would go. So you can see it's part of that same building as the new shop, but it's on the right end there. Here's a close-up of the entrance to the office. And this is a shot. If you would go through that main door, you would be in this part of the office where several people had their workstations. To the northeast, building number 7 is the building where the large sprayer would go in and be filled up with chemicals to then be applied to the fields. We'll be calling that the spray barn. And you can see sprayer can pull in one end, get filled up, and pull out the other end. I also want to bring your attention to this area to the northwest. I'm going to blow that up just to show you a few things. Right there in the middle, those 2 white tanks is where they stored the anhydrous ammonia. Again, it's a fertilizer. Tens of thousands of gallons were stored in those 2 tanks. Towards the bottom, you see 4 smaller tanks. Those smaller tanks would attach to the larger tanks and be filled with the anhydrous ammonia. That area there is referred to as the burn pile. This is where they would burn their trash. This will be important as we go on. In that photo, you can see, I know it's small, but there are probably a dozen more anhydrous ammonia tanks lined up close to the main mother bottle, as it was called. Now, you're going to hear about the surveillance camera system that they had on the property. And there are hours and hours and hours of footage from these cameras. And we're not going to put you through watching a week's worth of video. So what we are going to do is we've taken out what we think are the most important parts. And of course, the defense can show you parts that they also think are important. But I want you to understand where the cameras are and what they show and what they don't show. So building number 1 is represented, the whole building in red, the old shop. Basically, there's a camera inside that captures everything that's not behind a partition or a box or a truck or whatever. So that whole building is represented in red because that whole building, basically, the inside of it is under camera surveillance. The north part of the new shop is also got cameras on the inside. The shot I showed you of the inside of the office is also under camera surveillance. There are 3 outside cameras as well. So attached to the north side of the old shop, there's a camera looking north, and the arrows kind of represent the view that that camera captures. Another camera on the west side of the new shop, looking in a northwest direction as shown by those arrows. And then there's another camera on the east side of the office. And it's a fisheye lens, so it's kind of got a wide angle, but it kind of points towards the spray barn and kind of down towards Munger Road. So it's got that viewpoint. Now, you have a sense of the property. I'm going to talk a little bit about Dee and Dale's relationship, which the witnesses will testify was never good. Constant verbal disagreements over text, face-to-face, a pattern of stalking by Dale towards Dee, which I'll tell you more about in just a second. Extreme secrecy and distrust between the two of them. Some of the text fights that you'll hear about during this trial, and this is in the weeks leading up to April 2021. Here we have February 23, 2021, where Dee says to Dale over text, "I'm ready to move out and be done with this. You treat me as if I'm not worthy of anything. You want to be in control so that the other person is powerless. I'm not going to live like this." 2 days later, we don't even talk. We are just roommates. February 25, our relationship has gotten so much worse. I can't be with someone that does this to me. March 1st, nothing is ever good enough for you. You wonder why I don't sleep with you. All of this. They had a vacation planned to Disney World. I think they left on March 6th. 2 days before, she says, "Fuck you, I'm not going." You hear about face-to-face confrontations as well. Dee's daughter Raquel will testify to that. They had an exchange student from Italy staying with them, living with them, watching them, day after day. She'll testify. Giada Rowe is her name. And another young woman who was good friends and spent a lot of time at the Warner household. Her name is Madison Wolf. She goes by Maddie. We'll hear from her as well. Hardly a day would go by without a fight. There's one in particular that Stephanie Vocal will testify about. Stephanie was a good friend of Dee's. She also worked with Dee in the office. She says that at one point, Dale comes storming into the office in front of all the employees and puts his finger at Dee and says, "You, outside now," and proceeded to scream at her 2 feet away from her face in front of all the employees to see. Now onto the stalking behavior. Dee, her main car was a Cadillac Escalade, comes with OnStar. So you can go on your phone and you can find out where the car is. Well, you'll hear from the person from OnStar, Devin Newell is his name. They were able to pull up their records, how many times that Dale tracked Dee over the period from January of 2020 through April of 2021, and it was over 2,000 times that he tried to get her, or did find her location. It's over 4 times a day. Here's the app that would be used. I know you can't read the text at this point, but you'll get the exhibit. There's the button right there on the front part of the app that says View More. From there, you go to the second page, which would be the More page, the middle page here. There's a vehicle locate option, and then you pull up a map and it'll show you where that vehicle is. 2,000 plus times. She also drove a Hummer occasionally. That was also a GM product, but it didn't come with OnStar. His then son-in-law, Brian Bush, will testify that he wanted to track her in the Hummer too. And so he had Brian, Dale, had Brian buy off Amazon a tracker that could be installed in the Hummer. He discovered it, and there's a picture of it. We also have the Amazon purchase history from Brian Bush that shows him buying the GPS tracker. Brian will testify that Dale would call him and say, go online and find out where the Hummer is. Where's D in the Hummer? They had an IT person for the farm. Kyle Wagner will testify. D was scheduled for a medical procedure, and Dale approaches him and says, can you clone Dee's phone for me? Basically download everything that's on there, all her texts, all her phone calls. And Kyle says, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna violate her trust. Later on, when the police got a hold of his phone, Dale's phone, they see that he took 90 photographs of Dee's text with her son, Zach. And you'll see that exhibit as well. At one point, Zach and Dee were hiding things from Dale in the Munger house, in Zach's bedroom. And Zach goes to get in his safe, and he can't get in it. Well, long story short, Dale had Brian, the guy who got the tracker, get an exact replica of Zach's safe, switched them out, and broke into Zach's safe and replaced it with the one he got off Amazon. Zach will testify to this. But again, June 11, 2019, we have the record from Amazon of the safe that Brian bought for Dale. Last thing he did with Brian was to try to set up cameras in the living space so he could monitor Dee in the home. So here's a picture of the living room. I know you can't read this, but you will see this. At the bottom it says places for camera. And this text string had 3 photos. Here's another place he's suggesting for a camera. This is in the living space of the house. This is in the kitchen area. Again, place for a camera. So I think you're getting the impression here, the idea that this marriage had no intimacy, only secrecy. They didn't sleep together. They were just roommates. You're going to hear from Giada and Maddie that they would go shopping with Dee, and she would say, pretend these are yours. You carry them in the house. Or they would wait until Dale wasn't around to sneak them in the house. She kept her phone on her at all times. I mean, she was on the couch, she would have her phone. She would never let her phone be somewhere where it was just sitting on a table. She wanted it in her hand or on her person. She even locked her car when it was in the garage. She had her purse in the car, she locked the car in the garage in the house. All right, so now let's turn to the weekend of April 24, 2021. So Friday, there is a blow up with 2 employees. 2 of the trucking company employees, the brothers actually, Todd and Terry Nerick. And you'll hear more about this. It's not important right now what the issue was about, but Dee was at odds with both brothers at the end of the day on Friday. Saturday morning, Dee goes to her oldest daughter, Amber's house. Angelina, the 9-year-old, has spent the night there. Lena has a soccer game at 10:30 or 11. So Dee goes over to Amber's house to get Lena and take her to the soccer game. Dee comes back from the soccer game, sobbing, hyperventilating. What happened? I told you about the two brothers Friday night, Terry and Todd. Well, Terry, his girlfriend or his ex-wife is also named Terry with an I. While Dee was at the soccer game, she gets this text from Terry. And I'm not going to read you the whole thing, but here's the important part, about 2/3 of the way down. You're evil, nosy, miserable. Your own husband said you take Xanax because you're a mess. That's the truth he told me and Terry. This text, this betrayal, where she believes that Dale is telling the employees that she is on Xanax and a mess, sends Dee into a tailspin. So she goes back to Amber's house and she shows Amber the text. She can hardly talk. She's so upset. She's sobbing, she's hyperventilating. She goes right into the bathroom and throws up. She is so distraught. She tells Amber, I've had it. This is it. There's been talk of a divorce over the years, and he's never gone through with it. No, this is the time. This is the last straw. So she says to Amber, we're getting divorced, we're selling the businesses. Later on that afternoon, this is when she's talking to Amber, it's about 1 o'clock, let's say. 4:30, 5 o'clock, she's talking to Raquel at the Munger house. She's back there. She tells Raquel the same thing. It's over. I'm ending it tonight. She arranges for the 9-year-old Lena to stay at relatives, at her Aunt Amy's. And so it's now just Dee and Dale at the Munger residence. Now, Dale, after Dee goes missing Saturday night into Sunday, he speaks with the police numerous times, and you're going to hear these interviews. And so he's acknowledged that he got a call Saturday, late morning, when he was out in the field doing his farming things. Dee calls him. He could tell by the tone of her voice, quote, he was going to get an ass chewing. And Dee said to him in that phone call, why are you telling the help I'm on Xanax? And we're done. We're selling everything. This is it. This is from his own lips. So again, back to other interviews, that what Dale told police happened after everyone left the property and it was just him and Dee Saturday night. He said that she was upset over the employees. Not that it was about divorce, it was about the fights Friday night. She accused him of being mean. And he tells the police, look, we've been going to marital counseling and I've been told to de-escalate. And that's what I did. I de-escalated. He says, we never had the sell everything conversation. She brought it up and I said, Dee, it's just not your decision. He tells police, she wanted to escalate more, but I wouldn't go there. But she wouldn't let it go. She got herself so upset, according to him, that she got a migraine. She took some pills, ate some food. He rubbed her shoulder. She was calming down. She fell asleep on the floor. He put her on the couch and went to bed. And that's all that happened Saturday night. Sunday morning, Dale gets up early to go farming. He tells police, I leave the house. She's still snoring away on the couch where I left her. This is a shot of the living room looking towards the kitchen, and he later tells police that's the couch that I'm talking about. 7 o'clock, the surveillance cameras that I talked to you about earlier, they show him getting on the JCB. And here's that. So again, just to remind you, I know you don't have this memorized yet. We're talking about number 2, the dry fertilizer barn at the top. And the camera that you just saw was the camera off of building number 1, the old shop, pointing north. There's a blow up of that. There's the area that we saw the JCB in. You can see if that JCB had turned in front of the old shop, it would be heading right toward the house. Between the house, number 3, and the dry barn, number 2. Okay. He acknowledges that he drove the JCB up to the house. Okay. Sunday, later that day, witnesses will actually see the JCB tracks going up to the house. If you recall from the camera angles, there's no camera that shows that stretch from south of the dry barn to the house. So that it's not on camera, him driving up to the house. But witnesses will say, yeah, we saw the tracks, and Dale agrees he did drive up to the house.
So the tire marks out front, so on Sunday, when someone comes over here and they see the tire marks from the JT whatever the yellow one up to the porch, you recall, I mean, you know, it's aggressive, or, you know, the deed tried it, I mean, so you remember, did you do anything? You did it for us the other day. I told you, when I went out, you know, I forgot, I pulled on the JCB, I pulled over this way, I forgot something, I went into the house, grabbed it. I think I probably forgot my tool, you know, was so. You said you drove that over there, but you didn't say so. So I didn't ask you. Right, I pulled out, shit, I need this, I went and grabbed it, went back out, and I went back around.
Okay, you'll see the man in the orange shirt. That's Kevin Grucka, Detective Kevin Grucka is now retired. He was the lead investigator on this case for the first months or a year. So what does Dale say? That he was snoring away when he gets ready to spray. 7 o'clock, surveillance shows he's on the JCB, drives up to the house. Then when he was interviewed later by the Michigan State Police, they said, can you mark on a map where you drove up with the JCB? And he did. Here's the map they gave him. It's going to be impossible for you to see the X. Apologize for that. Couldn't blow it up any bigger than that without making it totally blurry. But that red circle, I added to this to show you that's where the X was, or is, when you will see the exhibit. That's about as close as I can get it. And again, right there is the X. Okay, so we're looking at the back of the house, and basically right in line with that peak coming off the main part of the roof. Right, so you can see that same peak. You can see my blue X. That's not part of the photo. But essentially where the X was in the picture that Dale marked up when he was being interviewed by the Michigan State Police. All right, now I want to talk about the Hummer on Sunday. So they had taken the Hummer to Florida, and you'll hear from several witnesses say it was parked in the same spot for weeks after they got back from Florida. And Saturday night was still parked in that same spot. And Dale admits to the police later on that Sunday morning, the only people that were around that could have moved it were him and Dee. And here's a picture from a couple of days later, taken by the police, April 29th. Okay, Sunday is April 25th. But this is where the Hummer had been parked and was moved back when this picture was taken. Okay, and you can see there the relation between the front end of the Hummer and the back door, which is right there. Okay. Now, in relation to the living room, the door that the Hummer is parked in front of is right there. Again, back to Devin Newell and the OnStar records. They'll testify that at 7:08, okay, remember 7 o'clock, JCB comes up to the house. 7:08, Dale uses his phone to go on My Cadillac, OnStar, and unlock Dee's car in the garage. Again, just here's the app, and there's the unlock button right there. There's the garage door open. Again, this is a couple days later, April 29th, but that's where Dee always parked her Escalade. Okay. You'll hear that Dee locked her purse in the car, but after Sunday, April 25th, no one could ever find it. 7:14, you'll see the JCB driving up to the northeast corner of the property. You'll also hear that Dee's phone made the last contact with the cellular network at 7:14. And after 7:14, her phone is never on again. Its last location is on the Munger property. We know that because there is a cell tower to the north and another cell tower to the south. And we know the distance the phone was from each tower, and we can triangulate that the phone was on the Munger property. You'll hear from a witness that'll tell you that. 7:45, he gets in the sprayer, leaves the property to go spray a neighboring property. He's basically out spraying until a little after 11. When he leaves, he texts Dee's phone, going spraying, call you later. Okay, so he leaves at 7:45, so he returns at 8:15 for about a half an hour to reload, goes back out in the sprayer, and that's where he is for about 3.5 hours total. So he's gone. Daughter Raquel, Dustin Lally, and their kids, two daughters, they have a standing invitation for Sunday morning breakfast. Okay, so this is not something that's prearranged. They just show up expecting Dee to be there, expecting to have breakfast with her. They come in the house, she's not around. Okay. Now remember, she was on the couch snoring when he left. 9:30, they arrived. She's not on the couch anymore, for sure. Both of her cars are there. This is odd. Where is she? 9:41, Raquel texts, where are you? No answer. So they eat breakfast, not really alarmed yet, just kind of curious, why isn't she here? Why isn't she answering her text? She always answers her text. But they go back to their house, and you'll hear that they live only maybe a mile up the street. But before they even go in, Raquel's like, I'm going to call her. And it goes right to voicemail. Again, that never happens. Dee's phone is attached to her, and she will always answer. So they return to the Munger property to say, okay, something's not right here. So Raquel, they come back. The Hummer is now up at the office, and so is the JCB. She'll testify that actually the Hummer was up at the office when they were there at 9:30 for breakfast. So she figured, okay, mom's not in the house. They must be in the office arguing. So mom's not answering. Let's go to the office, and just make sure that everything's okay. So you'll see 10:09, she appears on that office surveillance camera looking for her mom, and Dee is not there. Okay, so Raquel and Dustin then go to Dee's brother and sister-in-law's house, Greg and Shelley Hardy. Again, they're all living within a 5-mile radius. This is like 2 miles down the road. First, they go to an event center that Greg and Shelley have, and then they go to Greg and Shelley's house to see, is Dee here? No. Do you know where she is? No. So now Shelley joins them as they start looking any place that Dee could possibly be. And the Warners have a property up at M50 and Onstead Highway that they call the Cedar Point property. It's got a lodge there. They go up. No, Dee is not there either. So now they've crossed off all the places that she possibly could be. We didn't really search the house. I mean, she wasn't answering when we called, but let's go search the house. But in the meantime, she calls her siblings, Amber, Zach, and TJ. Hey, do you know where mom is? Have you seen her? No. She calls Stephanie, one of her best friends. Do you know where mom is? Stephanie doesn't know either. Nobody knows where she is. Now, Dale is out farming, but we know from his phone that between 7:45 and 10:30, he went on there and used Find My iPhone to see where Dee's phone was. Okay. And he also tried to look, those Munger surveillance cameras have a remote access app. So you can go online and you can watch your security cameras. He tries to do that as well. 10:32, Stephanie calls, where's Dee? And his answer, well, when I left, she was sleeping on the couch. So Dale says, I'll come back. He gets back to the Munger farm about 11:20. He goes to the office where the kids, Zach and TJ, are trying to figure out, they're calling around different places. They're looking at the computer monitor. They're accessing the history, the camera history, the footage, going back a few hours, seeing, can we see anything on the security cameras of what happened? How did she leave? Did she leave? What happened? So he comes in there, and next to that office, the picture I showed you, there's a hallway, and there's a lunchroom where Dale has his desk. And Dale comes out of there and he says, oh, fuck, she left her wedding ring. And he shows them. So here's the camera view of the office. And you can see TJ, the oldest son, on the left with his arms behind his head. Dustin Lally is in the top corner with looks like a hoodie and some kind of a hat. And Zach is at the computer screen. And Dale is almost off screen on the right. And this is about the time, although he's off camera. And here's Shelley also in the room at the same time. But we can see that they're there at 11:59 on Sunday. From there, he goes to the house. Raquel is in the bedroom, in Dee's bedroom. And Dale says, here, she must have left because she took her go bag, she took her makeup bag, she took her curling iron, she took her hairspray. They're all gone. That's the bedroom we're talking about. So the kids want to report her missing. None of this is adding up. Dale says, no, I don't want to do that right now. So they all meet up secretly at Zach's house. Not all, Amber's not there. It's TJ, Zach, and Raquel. And they make the call to the police because something is definitely wrong. 6:55 p.m., Sheriff's Deputy Austin Hall shows up at the Munger property and talks to Dale. Dale says, basically confirming the facts that I just went through with you, that Stephanie had called him. He found out from her that Dee was missing, that she had left her wedding ring. And he said, this is weird because, yeah, we've had arguments over and over, and Dee has left many times, but she always takes Lena. Okay. He says, yeah, we argue all the time, but she's never without her phone. And he says, yeah, she's secretive though, and she parks her car locked in the garage. So Deputy Hall leaves, he's taking his report. Monday, Detective Greca comes back and talks to Dale again. And he says, Dee left like she usually does, but again, he's going through the ways that this is different. Again, he says, she never leaves Lena, she's never left her ring before, and she's never left without her vehicle. He admits that it was better that Lena wasn't there for their argument Saturday night. And he admits that on Saturday night, Dee would not let it go. So that's the Monday interview with the police, and you'll see that. Tuesday, Detective Greca comes back, and he walks the property with Dale, looking in all the cabs of the trucks, looking for any possible place on the property that if Dee had some kind of episode, she might have gone and passed out or had some kind of distress. No sign. So he leaves. Tuesday night, comes back with a search warrant to search the properties, all the outbuildings. Okay, and you'll see this on his body cam. He's talking with the daughters, and he's got Dale on the phone because Dale's not at the property at that point in time. This is like after 8 p.m. And he says to him, Dale says, or he knows that Dale's not there because he's talking to him on the phone. And but he has Dale has Jaron, his son, come and get him. And you also see that he moves a tank while the police are searching. And the reason for that is the decision has been made to just let Dale do his farming, not to interfere with his farm. So the police do multiple interviews with witnesses, but Dee, her whereabouts cannot be explained. Okay, days and days and weeks and months go by. From May 2021 to May 2023, numerous other searches of Munger and other places, interviewing dozens of witnesses. October 2021, the FBI stepped in and they did a search of the Munger residence and property. 2022, the state police take over from the sheriff on the lead to the investigation. May 2023, dozens of officers from all over the state came down and searched just about every field that could possibly have been where Dee's body was. Walking the fields and no sign of her. Now, police got Dale's iPad that he used in 2021, and they saw that he had done a search in May, after Dee went missing in April, of how to dispose of a 1,000-gallon propane tank. Now, if you know anything about propane tanks, they look almost identical to anhydrous tanks, the big ones, not the little ones you get at the gas station. Also, looking back at the surveillance video from the Sunday, April 25th, you can see Dale on camera getting welding supplies together. So they put those two things together and they got a search warrant for tanks that had been re-welded shut, cut open and re-welded shut, with a weld that looks different from the weld that the tanks come from when they're new. Right? And so there's a couple of places that they store anhydrous tanks when they're not in use, and one of them is at a property on Paragon Road, a couple of miles away from Munger. And they're looking at, I don't know, 6, 10 tanks that are there. No re-weld. But in the very back, all by itself, there is a tank, number 34. And it's got a weld that no tank would come from the factory like that. It's got a sign, a tag attached to it that says, bad dip tube, do not use. So they take the tank to get x-rayed. And here's what they find. Based on seeing obviously a body in the tank, they then are ready to see, okay, who is that? So they take the tank. Before they cut it open, they put a camera inside, and sure enough, there's a tarp. In that tarp is a body, and that body is Dee Warner. They test the tank. Dale's fingerprint is on the ammonia sticker that you see there. They test the paint, and it's similar to the paint in the old shop on the Munger farm. Please consult with a welding expert. Okay, how would this be done? How would you cut a tank open, put a body inside, and re-weld it? Well, he looked at the tank. He looked at how it was cut open. He could determine from the marks that he could see on where it had been cut open that it was cut open with an abrasive cutoff wheel. Well, here's surveillance in the old shop, and you'll see this. This is Dale with an angle grinder and cutoff wheels. The expert says, okay, it was welded shut with a gas metal arc welding process. And here's Dale also on Sunday afternoons standing by the welders in the old shop. The expert says, okay, there was something attached to the top of that cap that got cut off. It was probably a hook, so you could hold the cap while you're cutting it. There's Dale getting a hook on Sunday afternoon. He said, okay, you would use a chain, you'd hook that, you'd wrap the chain around that hook. That's how you would hold the cap while you're cutting it. There's Dale grabbing some chain. If you're gonna weld the tank shut, you're gonna need a welding mask and gloves. There's Dale getting a welding mask and gloves. If you weld something, you're in short sleeves, you're actually going to get a sunburn. This is from the body camera on Monday, the 26th. And there's Dale's arm. So now, please go back to all the surveillance. All right, where's this tank? Let's see if we can find this tank. So we know that when Detective Greca came on Tuesday, he walked the property with Dale looking for D. And here's a section of that body cam. Okay, and this is the area of the burn pile. That's a still shot from that body cam. I know you can't see it from where you are. Again, you're going to get this as an exhibit. When you do, you'll see there's an obvious defect in the weld in that area. Blew it up as much as I could. Remember the defect in the when the police found the tank in the barn in Paragon, right there. Also, remember on Tuesday, in the evening, the police had come with a search warrant. Go back and look at the body cam from that search warrant. Again, I said, Dale's not on the property at that time. Detective Greca says to him, yeah, we're here with a search warrant. We've got cadaver dogs on the way. They're about 20 minutes out. Cadaver dogs that can smell human remains. Tells Dale, yeah, the cadaver dogs are about 20 minutes out. We're going to start the search. You're welcome to be here. You don't have to. You can come back if you'd like. As soon as Greca gets off the phone with Dale, he turns, and there's Dale's son, Jaron, on the phone. He's like, you talking to your dad? Oh, I just got off the phone with him. 20 minutes, the dogs will be there. Jaron leaves, comes back with Dale in 18. Here's what happens when he gets back. Those men on the pad are part of the search team. They're running a drone. Here comes the JCB. Ryan Rank is one of those men. He's going to testify. It was Dale behind the wheel of that JCB. There it goes to the burn pile. And here it comes with the tank. Ryan Rank, who was flying that drone, decided to capture it with his camera. Now, again, I don't know how well you're oriented to the property yet, but that building that he is going towards is the spray barn. There's the inside of the spray barn on Thursday the 29th, with Dale spraying the floor. There's a different view of that. One of the things you're going to be able to do, in addition to looking at all the evidence that I've just showed you in terms of photographs and video, you're going to be able to compare the statements that Dale made to the police versus other pieces of evidence in the case. So, for example, Dale told the police that he used Find My iPhone to look for D. Remember that? He said, I tried to access the surveillance cameras. It wouldn't work on my phone, but I tried because I wanted to see, you know, did someone come and pick up D? I was looking for D. Okay. But the evidence is he accessed those apps before 10/29. We have the records. By his own admission, he didn't know that D was even missing until Steph called him at 10:32. You can think about Dale's conflicting statements that just conflict with each other. For example, he acknowledged the Hummer was parked in front of those steps. He acknowledged only D or I could have moved it on Sunday morning. He acknowledged that he drove the JCB up to the steps and went in the house. And he also said at the same time, D was still sleeping. But yet he claimed that D was the one that moved the Hummer up to the office. Again, here's where the Hummer was parked. As he acknowledged to the Michigan State Police. Right in front of those steps. Those JCB tracks went right up to the steps. In January 2024, the Michigan State Police went out and they did a little test, a little demonstration to see what would the JCB be able to do up there, parked right in front of those steps. And there you can see what could be done with the bucket. Other statements of Dale's that you should consider, or that you can. Told Raquel and the police that Saturday night he recited back to D their wedding vows. For Richard for poor, sickness and in health, etc. He also said to the police that he sure as hell wasn't getting divorced again. He'd already done that once. Now, Judge Olsaver read you the elements of the charges that you'll be considering at the end of the trial. Okay, so he's charged, you're going to be able to consider first-degree murder, second-degree murder, and tampering with evidence. And I know that you heard this already this morning. I just want you to have this in mind as you're listening to the evidence of things that we have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. We have to prove for first-degree murder that Dale caused Dee's death. And we have to prove that he did it intentionally, with the intent to kill. And for first-degree murder, we have to prove that he did it with premeditation and deliberation. Now, I hope you all remember back to when we did the jury selection, that you all agreed that it's possible for a person to run a red light with premeditation and deliberation. This does not take days of planning, even hours of planning. If you have time to weigh the pros and cons of your decision and you decide to go forward with it anyway, that is enough for premeditation and deliberation. Second-degree murder is similar. First element is that Dale caused Dee's death. And it could be with the intent to kill, or it could be with the intent to cause great bodily harm. You're not intending to kill, but you do something with the intent to cause great bodily harm and death results, that's second-degree murder. Or if you do something so risky, okay, so if you knowingly create a very high risk of death or great bodily harm, knowing that death or such harm would be the likely result of his actions, that's enough intent for second-degree murder if he did that and caused her death. The other charge is tampering with evidence, okay? And again, so there's some evidence to be presented in a future official proceeding. Think of her phone, her purse, her body, right? If you have an autopsy, you can tell, how did someone die? Was it natural causes? The defendant removed, altered, concealed, destroyed, or otherwise tampered with that evidence. He did so on purpose and not by accident. That's the third element. The evidence was intended to be used in a criminal case where open murder was charged, which is what he's charged with here. A couple other things that Judge Olsaver will tell you that I want you to keep in mind in terms of proving his intent, that we can prove it, you can infer his intent from the type of wounds inflicted, the acts and words of the defendant, and any other circumstances surrounding the alleged kill. Motive may be important, but we don't have to prove that he had a motive or why he did this. So I remind you of what I started with. This is what Dr. Cho will testify to. And think about this in terms of those elements. She was strangled. She had blunt force trauma to the face and head, enough to have killed her. She had duct tape over her face and neck. She was in her pajamas, wrapped in a tarp, welded in a tank. You hear this evidence, and at the close of the trial, we'll be asking you to return a verdict of first-degree murder and tampering with evidence. Thank you.
Shardy, does the defense wish to make a statement?
Yes, Ms. Vinsky will do that. Thank you.
Throughout this trial, you'll see that the government's evidence and case is built on speculation, assumption, and innuendo. They will put witnesses on the stand and show you numerous exhibits, but you know what you won't see? Proof beyond a reasonable doubt. The government has a theory, but there is no concrete evidence of that theory. That's what is important to pay attention to. Consider very carefully if what the government is actually presenting to you is actual evidence of murder or something that they are theorizing and speculating is evidence of murder. Really think about the details of the case that the government is going to put forward to you. As you heard from the court, the law does not allow imagination to replace proof. Instead, the oath that you took requires that you consider all of the evidence when analyzing the specific details of this case. The law also requires that you consider the lack of evidence. The critical time here is the night of April 24th, 2021, going into April 25th, 2021. That is when this murder supposedly happened. This time frame is when the government claims that Mr. Warner killed Miss Warner, moved her body, took a tank, cut it open, put Miss Warner's body inside of the tank, welded the tank shut, painted the tank, put more stickers on the tank, and then moved it. You'll see, you saw in the pictures, that this is a giant anhydrous ammonia tank. Its size and weight are significant. And all of this is supposedly being done while Mr. Warner is working on other chores and doing work that is part of his regular duty on the farm. The government wants you to believe that this was all done on the farm without anybody noticing it. You'll learn that there were numerous people on the farm during the time frame that the government has focused on. As early as 3:27 in the morning on April 25th, a truck driver comes onto the farm to load up a truck and make a delivery. You'll learn that people can, and actually do, show up on the farm at any given time. Around 7 a.m., Mr. Warner starts his day and begins to work on the farm like he typically does. Mr. Warner leaves his property of the farm at 7:47 a.m. to go and spray a different farm. That's part of his job. Around 8:04 a.m., another worker comes onto the farm to work. This is before Mr. Warner even comes back. You'll learn who's on the farm throughout the day. For instance, if we move to the 11 a.m. hour, more people arrive. There are 7 people that are on the farm in addition to Mr. Warner. The same worker who arrived at 8 a.m. is still there. He's joined by a friend. Miss Warner's son, her son arrives on the farm. Her son-in-law is on the farm. Another son joins them. Her sister-in-law arrives, and then her daughter arrives shortly after that. Again, in that hour alone, there were 7 people that were on the farm with Mr. Warner. The afternoon of April 25th is no different. At 2:31 p.m., Miss Warner's son-in-law, nephew, daughter, a farm worker, his friend, they are all on the farm. And then about 20 minutes later, another employee arrives. Here is another hour where there are 7 people on the farm with Mr. Warner. Mr. Warner didn't put restrictions on where people could go. He didn't know who would randomly show up and walk around. You'll see surveillance videos from the farm where they track people's movements and where they went. Again, this case is not about what might have happened. It's about what the evidence proves beyond a reasonable doubt and what it does not prove. Now, it's easy to point fingers after the fact. It's easy to take words and behaviors and take them out of context and twist them and intensify them into the stories that you will hear in trial. But at the end of the day, you all aren't here to judge whether Mr. Warner was a good husband or not. You're here to determine whether the government has proven beyond a reasonable doubt that Mr. Warner committed the crimes that he's charged with. You'll hear a lot of testimony throughout the course of this trial. I'm sure you're aware of that at this point. And I don't want to take up more time telling you what you're going to hear from the stand, but I do ask that you focus on 3 things when you're listening to the testimony. First, think about the government's own timeline for when they claim Miss Warner was murdered and then the tank was cut open, Miss Warner was placed inside it, the tank was welded shut, painted, and moved. The government will try to force events to fit into this timeline that do not fit because they cannot fit within it. Their own timeline will fall apart with close examination. Second, pay attention to what's going on the farm, and including all of the people that are on the farm at the time that the government is claiming Mr. Warner is hiding Miss Warner's body. And third, consider how the investigation was conducted and how the police ignored other relevant information. In the end, the court will instruct you and has instructed you at this point that the burden of proof is beyond a reasonable doubt. That is the highest burden in our legal system. And this high burden is as it should be with the allegations we have here of murder and tampering with evidence. This is a burden that the government will not be able to meet. And because the government carries the burden of proof, any unanswered questions, any inconsistencies, any holes that the government does not fill because it cannot fill after hearing the facts are reasonable doubt. By the end of the trial, the government will not be able to rule out each and every reasonable doubt that exists in this case. And the law requires that even just one reasonable doubt means that there must be a finding of not guilty for Mr. Warner. So for all of these reasons and others that you will learn about, we ask that you follow your oath and follow the law and find Mr. Warner not guilty on all counts. Thank you.
We have a brief break, Your Honor.
Yes, we can. So it's 20 after, are you talking 5, 10 minutes? Maybe 5, 10 minutes. So we'll take 5 or 10 minutes and come back with the prosecution's
And we're back. You guys want me to put the next one on? So this was a different channel. I didn't even notice that. She sent this to, I can't find day 2. So this was day 1, this opening statements, right? So the next one I have is day 3. It's all I can find. So I guess we can watch this. It's not, let me know. So that was opening statements. Obviously that'd be day 1, right? Well, this is day 3.
I would be the
Let me know if you guys want to start a bit of this, or tell me if I'm doing the wrong one, because all I can find is day 3. If there's a day 2. This is 17th, so but this station doesn't have any more. I'll go to their station thing too. They don't have any more in their live section. This is the one I have up here, is this one. This is day 3, but none of these are. Which is this one? So if this is day 3, it's got to be. This is the one I have open, day 3, 11 days ago. You think 12 days ago or 13 days ago, they don't have it. They have the 11th, because that was on February 12th. So day 1 was February 12th. They only have February 11th. They don't have anything else. Except this one is day 3. So I don't know what, unless I check that other channel, but they only had that one video. So I'm guessing I'll have to shut it down here until we find day 2, because I don't have it. Unless I look for it. So this one is day 3, February 17th. So it's got to be day 2. So I'll just look up day 2 of Dale Warner trial. Let me try that. Oh, shit. Day 2. I hit block. Why did I do that? Fucking idiot. I hit block. Day 2 of Dale Warner trial. I can't. I hit block. Oh my God, I'm an idiot. Oh, how did I do that? I'm such an idiot. I hit block. Oh, fuck, I blocked it. Oh, here we go. Block temporarily. No, I want to unblock. Allow. Idiot. I fucking hit block. Allow. So I'll remember it for next time. Fucking stop this shit. Sorry, guys. Dale Warner trial day 2. Oh, revised. Is this am I allowed to watch this? Does it have to be like a news station? Day 2 of Dale Warner trial. Dale Warner trial, day 10. Ooh, that looked like the best one though. I'm just gonna put that one on if we get struck down. I don't know. This looks good. Day 2 revised. So it's like they're cutting it all out. Oh my gosh, I hope I don't get in trouble for this. Do you guys want to watch a bit of this? I think you should find the other half of day 1. Oh, good point, Peggy. Was that just a defense? No, the prosecution was up, right? Oh, I should just end this because I don't even know what I'm going to do. I'm going to fuck it up. Because TJ sent me a link to somewhere else. It was a whole other channel where I was just at. Boy, oh boy. I will shut this down unless you guys know what I should play. I will play it. The other half of day 1. So are you saying that was only the half of day 1? Oh boy. I guess I'll have to figure this out today and we'll come back tonight. I'm looking on my other monitor. So I was on this channel, this website, this YouTube channel was called Courtroom Confidential. They don't have any other videos. So that was all it says is opening statements. So, okay. So what? Melissa's, I'm there. I'm on that one. Melissa's daily recaps. Here, so I'll open this up on another page. Melissa's daily recaps on lives or videos. You guys, you can send me links too, guys, if you ever want. It'd be really easy. So, where's Melissa's daily recaps? Or is it in the lives? Or shorts? Yeah, sounds about right. Good night. I'll probably shut this because no idea what I'm playing. I'll fuck it up. But that was good. That was good. That was good. Everyone was excited. If somebody could send me a link, I'll play it. If not, I'll figure it out, I guess. Melissa's daily recaps. Okay, so that was a month ago, so not that far back. Trial. Murder trial. Melissa's daily recaps. Shorts. So who's Melissa? Melissa's daily recaps. So it would have been about a couple weeks ago. So I should scroll down. Okay, here we go. It's probably in the videos. Okay, I got it. So they have lots of other shit. Okay, I got it. Okay. I see some stuff here. I got it. I'm going back. 3 days, only 3 days. So they got lots of videos. That's what's going on here. Okay. I'm getting some stuff. I see it. I feel it. It's getting warmer. So how many days ago was it? Probably at least about 10 days ago, right? 11, 12. Oh boy. I feel it. This is probably what I should have been watching. These are all like shortened versions. Day 5. Okay. This is Melissa. I feel it, Melissa. I feel it. I feel it. Melissa, come on, baby. You can do it, girl. Where are you? Melissa, where? Day 4. Getting closer. She's like, you're getting warmer. A little lower. Melissa, where are you? Day 3. Oh my goodness. So close. So Peggy says I should do the rest of day 1. That would always be good. Well, at least if I figure this out now, I won't be fumbling. 2 weeks ago, I think we've gone too far. I won't be fumbling around later. So I'll get this out of the way now. Making an ass out of myself. Okay, that's not it. That was a courtroom. Melissa, where are you? Did I go too far? Uh-oh. It's got to be here. Oh my God. I went way too far. Okay, so that's the guy. Boy. Day 3. The deputy resigns. Okay. So where's day 2, guys? Day 3 was how many days ago? 11 days ago. So 12 or 13 days, right? Unless it's a weekend, it would be like 14, maybe 15, possibly 16. Last chance. That's 12 days ago. Come on. I can do this. I'm a professional. I will figure this out. 13 days ago. It's got to be here. Come on, Melissa, where are you? 2 weeks ago. How many days? That's 14 days. Uh-oh. Unless it's a weekend. Could have been. Oh boy. I think I'm blowing it. It's over. I quit. Yeah, I've gone too far. It's got to be. I don't see anything about the trial stuff. I quit. That's it. I'm going to delete this channel. Over. Oh, wait. That's, oh my goodness. So this far back, here's the verdict slip. Oh, I don't want the verdict yet. Oh my gosh. Motions. So if the motions are here, that was on the 11th. So where's, jurors will find out the Dale murder trial. Wait, here's the verdict slip jurors will fill out. Okay, that's a verdict slip. Judge issues decision on aspect. So this is like before the trial. I don't know. If you guys have any idea, I'm gonna shut this down, I guess. I really want to see it though. I was kind of into that. What was that other one? Did I have? I had day 2 up. Day 3. So this was day the 13th. Opening. This is what we just know. Dale were open on trial for open murder. Okay. I don't know, guys. Any clue what I'm doing here? Any other links in chat? No? Okay. I guess I'll figure this out and come back another time. Unless I'm willing, I have another hour and a half to kill. I would do it. I just don't know what. We just watched opening statements, and that's not it.
FC, apologize for the delay. Starting this morning, we had some issues unrelated to the case to attend to.
This is day 2. So Peggy said there's more of day 1. Go into the playlist. I've done that. They don't have one. I hope they do. Sorry. Maybe they do. You guys, I don't know. I mean, this is so easy to find. If you guys could just find it and put the link, I would really appreciate that. You guys act like I can just find this stuff. I mean, I agree. It's probably really easy. So grab the link and put it in, and I'll go there. How's that? 2023. I guess these don't have to be in order. Can't be this far. Oh, damn it. This could be it. Found a play. Oh my goodness. Dale Werner playlist. Oh my gosh, guys. So would they be smart enough to start it at the beginning 1 day ago? Ugh. Oh my God. Day 9 recap. Day 7. Oh my God. Shouldn't this be the other way around? Shouldn't they set it to oldest first? These people. Day 3. Oh my gosh. I found a playlist, guys. I found a playlist. It's okay. I think I got it. Final motion. So this, okay, so the jury selection, look at all this we skipped over. So I guess these are all small ones because the trial starts here. Final hearings, final motion hearings, right here. Judge rules, the next big one. Dale murder trial rulings. So, see, then it goes to day 3. That's all they have. It's just day 3. They go straight to day 3. So they're missing some. That's good. But that's this one. That's this one I was going to go with. This is day 2. I mean, this is a whole other channel, day 2. But I think what else would have happened on day 1? Oh my goodness. I'll check these guys out a bit more. Should I check day 1 maybe? I want to check day one. Dale Warner trial day one. Dale Warner trial day one. Day one. Day 9. D. Warner case. Streamed 1 day ago. Hidden Murder Court TV. So that's like the opening statements. Looks like that's what we just watched. I can, but the video's not in the playlist though, Peggy. So it doesn't matter. It's not. I went back. They just don't have it. So it's not that it's not a sorting problem. Like, I mean, obviously it would be better if I didn't have to go all out, but they have just that next video is this one here. On that one is day 3. And this one is day 2, but you're saying there's more on day 1. That's what I'm looking for. You said there was finished day 1 first. Unless day 1 is done and you have me looking for nothing. Because I have day 2. It's right here. There was a day 2 in this one. Day 2 revised. 4 hours and 30 minutes. So we could watch a bit of it. Law and Crime has it. Just assuming there's... I know. Okay. So, well, what did we just watch? We watched the opening statements, right? And did it end? Or did they start more stuff on day 1? Should I double check that again? Michael Jackson. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Here's the one we watched. Was Jeepers. Which one was it? This one is the one we watched. So let's... This is the one we watched, and I scanned through it. February 12, opening statements. This is what we watched. So do they end the day here? I don't know. Seems like they just ended.
Point that the burden of proof is beyond a reasonable doubt. That is the highest burden in our legal system. Not guilty on all counts. Thank you.
We could look at the clock too. See, it's like only lunch, right? Looks like it's not even lunch yet. It's like 11:15 in the morning. Has to be.
You have a brief break, Your Honor? Yes, we can. So it's 20 after, are you talking 5, 10 minutes? Maybe 5, 10 minutes. Okay. So we'll take 5 or 10 minutes and come back with the prosecution's
Right. So, yeah, because the prosecution has opening statements. The defense does theirs, but the prosecution always has a rebuttal to the opening statements. So that's what we're looking for. So there's definitely going to be more that first day. No, he just said it because that's how all trials go. I learned that with the Delphi one. The opening statements are the prosecution opens, the defense has their opening statement, but the prosecution always gets to finish the opening statements, which is what's happening here. We're now going to go take a break and come back for the rest of the prosecution's opening statements. I mean, we could skip it, I guess. I don't even know. Guess I didn't even know we were going to do this. So if we can't figure it out, I'll come back. I'll figure it out, and next time we do this, I guess we'll know what we're doing. Let's go to Court TV and see what they got. Yeah, I should shut it down. Oh my goodness. So Court TV. It's not lives. Corey Richards. No, have to be in their videos. I guess Nicole, you guys want to do more? If you want to do more, I don't know which one. So I don't even know if they have it on this channel. Boy, I'll have to figure it out. It was good. It was good. This is good. I'm interested. I really want it. That's why it's bothering me, because I kind of want to. I just don't know which one. I could definitely eat, but I mean, I don't need to. I don't want to get wrapped up in that. 8 days ago. So let's see if they have anything here. Del Warner. You guys have any ideas? Any suggestions? Going once, going twice. I got one last look at that day 2. Maybe. So let's check the timeout.
And a couple of things related to the case that needed to be addressed off the record. The first of which is that this morning the court became aware of a concern raised by a juror that they had been caught on the camera yesterday, and expressed that concern to the bailiff. Based on a discussion with counsel and agreement of the parties, we resolved that by individually questioning each juror about whether they had any concerns about their continued service or how the trial is being run.
I don't know, guys. This says day 2. I feel we're missing the rest of day 1. We definitely are, because the prosecution always gets a second rebuttal. So, I mean, I feel weird going on knowing there's more. So, I'm not going rogue. You guys, are you listening to what I'm saying? I don't know which one to play. I'm not going rogue. I'm going to play the one. If you guys put a link into the next one, I'll play it. I'm not trying to do any rogue. Rogue is me having, like, taking off and doing what I want to do. Whereas I can't do what I want to do because I can't find it. So I can't go rogue. It's impossible. Because this is like day 3 stuff. February 17th. The day 1 is February 11th or whatever, right? February 12th. So we need February. I'm going to check what was February 12th. That's probably what's good. I check my calendar and see February 12th was a Thursday. So February 13th was a Friday. Or we need the 13th, or the Monday is the 16th. Because day 1 is the 12th. Day 2, see, 13th. 13th is the next day. So this is it, but the rest of the day 1 is what we need. So I'll put in Del Warner opening statements. How about that? Yeah. Last chance, guys. Let's throw it. A calm down. Oh. You did say LOL, But if you think this is me not calm, oh boy. Look at Michael Jackson. Squirrel. Okay, here we go. For Carol. For Nicole and Carol. Dale Warner trial opening statements. Opening statements, an hour and 9 minutes. So let's just find one where they go to the second half, the other part of the prosecutor. So this is the prosecutor guy, right?
I'm ready to move
And
out.
she
and be
gets
done
up
with
the
this.
defense,
And
right?
comes back.
But this is what we saw. This is what we saw. And it just ends with her because it should end with him getting back up. So we need the second half of the opening statements. 3 minutes. Opening statements as husband. Let's see. This one's a bit longer. See, looks good. So he gets up, right? So he's up.
Married
prosecutor.
before she was married to the defense.
I'll mute it because we're going to see it. Then she gets up. Oh, she gets up, but he gets up again. No? Maybe they don't have it. Dale Warner's defense delivers their opening statement to the jury. No. Dale Warner's opening statement. This is the one we watched, Courtroom Confidential. So it's got to be longer than 140 something. That's not opening statements. Oh boy. Overwhelming evidence. Oh boy. Have anybody put a link in yet? No? All right. Definitely. Laugh at me is fine. Just laugh as long as you're smiling. I'm okay. Oh my gosh. I think this would be easier. But I really enjoyed this, so I'm not just saying that. So I really don't want to fuck it up anymore. So day 3. No, we've got day 2. Day 1. That's only 3 minutes. Fuck. Defense, prosecution ready for no. It's slippery in here. Slick. Actually, I'm getting stuffy too because I turned all my fans off again for you guys. Oh, long time. Dale, opening trials. Trial opening statements. Trial set to begin. Man. That's the one I had up. That's day 3. Shit. Day 10. February 11th. That's the day before. We need the 13th or the 16th because it looks like the 7th. It's probably the 16th because day 3. Or was that day 3 one? Day 2 is the 13th. So we need the rest of the 12th. Day 12. Day 1 is on the 12th because day 2 is the 13th, that Friday. So, unless I'm wrong, and that's it. But it seemed like they were going to come back, do more stuff. Right here. Yeah, because they're talking about leaving. She does the rest of her statements. She's the defense, right?
Arrives, and then her daughter arrives shortly after that. The government will do facts.
Like, listen to what he says here. They say it.
We have a brief break, Your Honor.
Yes, we can. So it's
It's 20 after 11.
20 after, are you talking 5, 10 minutes? Maybe 5, 10 minutes. So we'll take 5 or 10 minutes
And it's 11. I can see it. It's 11. It's not even at the 12 yet. It's 11:20 a.m. So there's the rest of this day here. We're going to skip.
come back with the prosecution's first.
See, he says it there. They're coming back for the rest of the prosecution's opening statements. It's going to drive me bonkers. Let's just watch day 2 and we'll come back, I guess. You guys want to just do that? I'll just start a bit of day 2 or fuck it. And we'll have to find it. Oh, look at TJ's coming in hot. TJ's coming in hot. I got my other screen. Let me see TJ. TJ's coming in hot. I can't get it through this 1 second. Here we go. TJ has got something for us. TJ. Okay, what is this? That's the 11th. No, that's not it. That's the day before the trial. That's the motions. The trial is, that's not it. Sorry. Because the trial is already on day 12, the 12th. So look at February 12th that's the Wednesday. Trial starts on Thursday the 12th. Right here. Where was it? See? Thursday, February 12th. You have February the 11th. Do you want to just see that? Maybe we should watch that, TJ. How would I do that? Maybe we should have watched this first. This is the 11th.
The evidence is probative value. People who engage in stalking.
No, this is boring. This is the 11th, February 11th. So that's the one you sent me. So we've already watched the beginning of, watched the 12th. So how about this? I'll start day 2, which is Friday the 13th. So what we're going to do is, if we find out that there's something missing from the 12th, we'll have to go back and catch it. But I have a feeling we saw that, like I said. So we see here, the prosecution opens and he talked for a while. The defense gets up, and usually, and even say it here, is the prosecution gets to have its closing. They always get to go last. So the prosecution went, then the defense, and the prosecution always gets the rebuttal. Always. That's how they did it in Delphi too. So we're missing that. But I'm going to move on. Let's just play. Oh, look at TJ's coming in hot again. Let's see what she's got for us. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. 1 second. What is it? I'm clicking it. Oh, wait, sorry, I hit the wrong. I'm clicking. And
I would be the only one eating.
that's day 3.
Okay. And just describe for the jury a little bit.
So very good, TJ. Very good. So that's day 3. If you look in this, I've got this one up already. This is the one I already have up over here. Day 3. That's the one I had up as day 3. This is the one you sent me. Day 3. So that's too far into the future. So I have day 2. Day 2 is next. Day 2 is what we're going to watch. And we're just going to skip over what we're thinking. Whatever happened on day 1 in the afternoon, we're missing. It is all screwed up. It is. It's not your fault. Thank you, TJ, for helping. But yeah, it's definitely, I have a feeling. Here's day 2. It starts, this is starting the morning of the 13th. See? Friday the 13th. So the only thing we're going to do is, how about we start that, and when we find out whatever else happened on the afternoon of day 1, we'll just have to play it. Because really all it is the prosecutor coming back and having his rebuttal. And maybe they leave early. It sounds like they're done by lunch. I don't know. Yeah, I agree, Nicole. I guess we're going to have to. So how about this? We'll do day 2, and I'll start it. We'll do the first bit of it. So I'll shut this down. Day 2, which one was it? I'm not even going to look for other stuff. We'll do the rest. I don't care about this one. I don't want to look for any more. Here it is, day 2. And maybe we'll just watch until 8 a.m. How's that? An hour and 10 minutes or so? Is that okay with you guys, or is that too long? Let me know. I'll play it, and I'll type in chat. How's that? So let's just play it, and I'll scrub through and find if it's boring or they're sitting around. All right? And I'll be in chat.
Possible jury.
some issues.
Okay, so there's no audio here. It must start. I didn't change anything, but they're probably waiting. The audio starts soon. Probably starts now. I'll mute.
FC. Apologize for the delay in starting this morning. We had some issues unrelated to the case to attend to, and a couple of things related to the case that needed to be addressed off the record. The first of which is that this morning the court became aware of a concern raised by a juror that they had been caught on the camera yesterday and expressed that concern to the bailiff. Based on a discussion with counsel and agreement of the parties, we resolved that by individually questioning each juror about whether they had any concerns about their continued service or how the trial is being run. None of the jurors expressed any concern about continuing to serve as jurors in this case, and all were willing to proceed. First, let me ask the attorneys if they believe that's a fair and accurate representation of that issue.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, anything else that you'd like to fill in that I missed that you believe is necessary to create an appropriate record?
No, thank you.
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. The second is that my understanding is that the parties have been through a number of exhibits and have some additional stipulations with respect to admissibility to place on the record.
That's correct, Your Honor. I believe we would be stipulating to Exhibit 74, 78, and 79, 81, 82, 83, 84, and 85, 209, 210, 211, 212, 213, 214, 215, 216, 217, 218, 220, and 260. And I believe 219, we are stipulating to that with a caveat, or?
Yes, I placed my objection, or I'd like to place my objection on the record. We discussed it in chambers for 219, approximately at 15:13:12 to 15:14:27. We had asked that that be redacted because it involves hearsay. Court issued a ruling that it's needed for context. And so we proposed a possible jury instruction that I believe the court is going to be giving it as it relates to that. But given that objection has been resolved and not in our favor, that is part of the record. So we don't require the government to lay a foundation for that video.
Okay.
And I would just indicate, Your Honor, the stipulation, there are numerous body cams, hundreds of hours, and so we stipulated to what we believed were admissible and relevant to this case, Your Honor.
Yes, we examined all the body cameras that were proposed by the government for essentially Musser issues, addressed those with the government back and forth for a number of weeks, and that has led to the stipulations articulated by Ms. Wise.
Okay. And just for clarity's sake, so I understand, in addition to stipulating on the things that are coming in, you're also in agreement on what is being left out.
Correct.
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Anything else we need to address for the record then before we bring our jury in?
No, thank you.
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. We got the volume on that way up this morning.
Maybe see that.
Okay, people may call their next witness.
The people would call Zach Bock.
You see that? Now that was the next witness, and this is the first one, so we must have missed something from day one, guys. So they're calling next witness. We're missing. If that's the next witness, who did they say call? They said state or whatever. It said something about the next witness, right? I'm gonna play it, but so we must have missed a witness. If we can figure out who it was, I would play it. I'll go look on the other channel on my other screen. But so if there was a witness before whoever comes up here, I'll try to get it. Sorry guys, but let's just do this for now. They're saying next witness. So we missed a couple. So I'll keep record of who this guy is and we'll figure out who was before him. All right? Because we missed at least one witness so far.
Good morning, Mr. Bock. Before you sit down, I'll ask you to raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty for perjury?
I do.
Okay, you can go ahead and sit down. Please try to keep your voice up so that we can all hear you.
Good morning. Can you state your full name and spell it for the record?
Zachary Christopher Bock, Zachkery, Christopher,
Okay, thank you. How did you know Dee Warner?
D was my mom.
How close were you with your mom?
Extremely close. We talked, saw each other just about every day.
All right. Explain that to me. How did you talk to her?
We'd talk through text message, phone call, Snapchat, or we'd see each other in person.
All right. How often did you see each other in person?
I worked for her, so I worked there at the farm. So I typically saw her Monday through Friday,
All right.
sometimes on the weekends as well.
All right. Did you know Dale?
I did,
All right. And that would be your stepdad?
yes.
All right. What was your relationship with him like?
My mom's partner.
Okay. And you said you worked at the business. Which business did you work for?
All three.
All right. So
I was paid out of one, but I did work for all three companies.
which business were you paid out of?
DDW Investments.
All right. Tell me about, you said there's three businesses. What are the businesses?
There's DDW Investments, which was the trucking company. Wareg Farms, which was the farm operating company that farmed ground, corn, beans, that type of thing. And then there's Wareg Farm Services, which was the chemical fertilizer company that was selling products to third parties, other farmers.
Okay. And the Warag Farms, that farmed land?
Yes,
All right. And how many acres of land approximately?
roughly 3,000.
All right. Are these the land that's being farmed, is this owned or leased?
Both.
Okay. And what about Warag Services? What did they do?
Wareg Farm Services was the chemical fertilizer company. So that was buying the chemicals or fertilizer from the supplier, turning around and selling them to other farmers and using for themselves as well.
Okay. And DDW Trucking, where did they do business?
As far as like location,
Trucking. Yep.
or,
Where did they truck?
all over the place. There was trucks that went in and out of Canada. There was trucks in Illinois, kind of all over, I'd say a couple of states surrounding the state of Michigan.
All right.
It wasn't like they were going to California or anything like that, but
Okay. How many employees between the businesses were working on the farm?
for just the farm or
For all the businesses?
all the businesses together?
Correct. So let me clarify. Good question. The farm, so you said you worked for your mom every day. Was that business located on the farm?
Yeah, all three businesses operated out of the same office.
Okay. And so how many employees between all three companies were there?
Less than 20.
Okay.
20.
Tell me in April of 2021 who the major trucking employees were.
Each name?
If you can remember the trucking employees that you dealt with on a regular basis.
There was Todd, Terry, Mark, Kelly, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank on the rest.
Okay. What about the farming business? Who were the employees for farms that you saw on a regular basis and you dealt with in April of 2021?
There was Ivan, Jim, Jaren, Stephanie. She worked in the office with me, and Dale.
Okay.
There was some random other people that might come in for helping with certain things, but
Okay. When you say Ivan, is that Ivan Boyd?
yes,
And Jim, do you know his last name?
Hawkins,
Okay. And Jaron,
Warner.
did you know a Jason Gravel?
The name sounds familiar, but I can't say that for sure.
Not somebody you would have interacted with every day?
No, I didn't really interact with a lot of the people that worked there. I mainly was in the office. I dealt with them, maybe communicated over the phone, but most of even the truckers were actually handled by Stephanie.
Okay. And Stephanie, did she work in the office with you?
She did.
All right. How long did Stephanie work there?
We both started there about the same time. I had worked there when I was in high school, but had left and was doing my own stuff. And then when my mom and Dale had fired Mark Weisberg, I came back. I want to say it was about 2017.
Okay. So you and Stephanie both started around 2017?
Yes.
All right.
Probably within about a month of each other.
Did your mom employ any housekeepers?
Several.
Okay. What about in 2021?
The one that I knew mostly was Maddie Wolf.
Okay. Did you know if your mom took in any foreign exchange students at any point in time?
She did. Her name was, and we called her Jade. How her actual name is pronounced, I don't know, but she was from Italy.
Okay. What year was that, if you recall?
Probably 2015, 16, somewhere around there.
Okay. So I believe you indicated you were with your mom just about every day. Do you know what her habit was with her phone? As far as keeping it with her, putting it, not having
Attached
it?
to her hand? Yes.
All right. Were there times that you attempted to call her?
Excuse me.
That's okay. Were there times you ever called or texted your mom that she didn't respond to you?
The only time that she's never responded to me was when she was killed.
What about her keys for her Cadillac? Do you know what she did with those?
They were typically in her pocket.
All right. And do you know if she kept that Cadillac locked?
Usually it was locked, yes.
Okay. And do you know what was kept inside the Cadillac?
So mom carried her phone case was her, I'm going to say, day-to-day wallet. It had a little flap that opened up to protect the screen. And you could put like your driver's license, your credit card and stuff like that kind of right inside of it. But she also had like a small purse. I think it's called a clutch.
Okay.
She had a bigger purse that was like an actual bag, but she very rarely, I think the only time she would typically use that really big purse was like a Black Friday sale when her, my sisters, my aunts, they would go shopping.
Okay.
But typically she only used her wallet that was attached to her phone and then that little clutch purse thing that was usually left in her car.
Okay. With you being around the day-to-day activities on the Warner property, on the farm there, did you observe your mom and Dale fighting?
Just about every day.
Okay. Do you know the basic topic of the arguments?
Typically the fights were related to money and something related to one of the businesses.
Okay. When was the last time that you talked to your mom? Whether in person, phone?
The Saturday before. So I think that's the 24th.
Okay. Where'd you see her at or talk to her? How'd you talk to her?
I briefly seen her, I think it was Saturday morning at my sister Amber's. I had kind of just swung by and I think maybe had a cup of coffee and my mom was coming to pick up Lena, and about the same time that mom had gotten there was about the same time I was leaving. So I might have said hi. But throughout the rest of the day I had talked with her. We were texting back and forth. She was having some issues with two of the truckers. And then we were also talking about a friend of ours, a friend of mine and a friend of hers had passed away.
Okay. And does your mom at any point in time tell you that she has any kind of plan for that night?
Yes, she was done with everything. She didn't want to do the trucking company anymore. She didn't want to be with Dale anymore. She wanted to sell everything and be done.
All right.
One point during the text conversation, she said, I'll sign it all over to you and you can deal with it. I'm done.
Okay. And how long have you been as close as you were to your mom in 2021? How long were you guys that close?
We had always been really close. I had started working originally for the farm when I was still in high school in like 2009, I believe.
Okay.
And had kind of worked on and off whenever they needed somebody else, I was there.
Okay. Had you heard her say that she wanted to do those things before?
Leave Dale and sell everything? Yes.
Okay. So after she says, I'm going to have a conversation with Dale later, do you text her, call her, anything later that night?
We had continued to text most of the evening.
Okay.
She was telling me about the fight and what the employee had said to her.
All right. Approximately what is the last time that you get a text message from your mom, if you can recall?
7 or 8 o'clock.
At 9 p.m.?
Night.
All right. Some point on Sunday, do you come over to the farm?
Yes. My sister Raquel I don't remember if she had called me or texted me. I believe she had called me that morning and asked if I knew where Mom was. She said that both of her cars were at home and she couldn't find Mom anywhere.
Okay.
And asked if I knew where she was. And I said, no, I'll text her and then I'll come on over.
Okay.
So I got off the phone with her and tried to call Mom. It went straight to voicemail. And then I think I had sent her a couple of text messages and was just starting a conversation. I think the first one was something like, how was your night, or how you doing today, or something like that.
Okay. So
but nothing ever went through.
All right. During the course of your mom's marriage to Dale, do you know if she would leave for a day or two?
Yeah.
All right. Where would she typically go?
Typically, she came to my house.
Okay.
She came to Amber's house, I know, a couple of times. She's gone to my Aunt Shelley and Uncle Greg's house a couple of times.
Okay. So it wouldn't be uncommon for her to show up at your house?
No.
Okay. How long would she typically stay?
Day, maybe 2.
And so then your sister Raquel calls you. What do you do after you talk to her?
So I think I went and took a shower and got in the car and went to my mom's house.
Okay. What'd you do when you got to the house?
I first went down to the office. I remember seeing my mom's Hummer sitting there, which was a little weird because she had been driving the Cadillac mostly. And then I went into the office, kind of just ran through, I guess, all of the rooms that were there, looking to see if I could see Mom or anything, if Mom had been there. And then walked back out of the office, walked up towards where Terry, the truck driver that Mom was in the argument and fight with the night before, was supposed to come clean his truck out. So I went up to check to see if Terry had cleaned his semi-truck out.
Okay.
Climbed up the little ladder, opened the door to the truck. The truck was still full of belongings. Got back down, started to walk back up towards the house, and that's when Dale came up to me somewhere in the driveway and asked if I knew where Mom was, if I knew where she was going to be, anything. And I said no, and we both proceeded to walk back down to the office.
Okay, I'm going to stop you. So when you first get to the Munger property and go to the office, is there anybody on the property with you?
When I first walked through the office, there's people on the property, but nobody's like walking with me, no.
Okay. And to the best of your knowledge, was Dale there when you got there?
I believe so.
Okay. Do you know if he got there at any point after you arrived, or you're not?
I don't know.
Okay.
The first actual time that I saw Dale was when we met in that driveway, right after I had looked at the semi-truck.
Okay. And then you both walk down to the office together?
Correct.
What do you do when you get down to the office?
As soon as we walk in the office door, we take a right. I was going to go look at the server room, which is on the back, this back little hallway thing next to the bathroom. And Dale started to walk into the next door, which was his office. So as I took a left to go down the hallway towards the server room and the bathroom, Dale was standing in his doorway. And before I got to the server room, all I hear was, am I allowed to swear?
Say what happened.
Oh, fuck. And I turned around and Dale's standing there holding my mom's wedding ring in his hand in the doorway.
Okay.
And so then from there, I walked back around over to my mom's desk where her computer is connected to the camera system. So instead of looking at it on my phone, I can look at it on the big screen. And I started to get on the cameras to see, well, if Dale's holding her wedding ring, she came into the office at some point. So maybe I can see her on the cameras and what time that might have been.
Okay. So did you start looking at the camera systems?
I did. And I stayed in the office trying to look on the camera system for a little while. I couldn't tell you exactly how long. But the whole time Dale stayed right here.
Was it the whole time, or was he in and out, or?
Whenever he was right next to me, he was right here.
Okay.
He would go walk over to his office. He walked in and out of the office building itself multiple times. He kept saying, "Oh, I'm going to go back to work. I'm going to go over and do this." But then he never did. He'd come right back in.
Okay. And at this point in time, when you're looking at cameras and Dale's in and out, who else is in the office with you?
At some point, my sister, my aunt, and my brother, my sister Raquel, had all come into the office. At some point, I believe Raquel's boyfriend, Dustin, had actually also come in there, I believe.
Okay. And how long did you stay at the office looking at cameras?
I couldn't tell you an exact amount of time.
All right. What'd you do after you were done looking at the cameras?
So at the rest of that day, I had gone through and I went and drove to look at the other properties that they owned that had structures on them. So like there's a house around the corner that used to be rented to Stephanie that we were selling at the time, and I had it for sale. So I thought, well, she walked somewhere, her cars are here. Maybe she walked and is staying in that house. So I drove up to that house, opened it up. Nobody was inside. I drove over to the Cedar Point property in Onstead to see if maybe she was there somewhere hiding out. I went back to my own house. She had a code to be able to use the front door, figuring, well, maybe somebody picked her up and they went to breakfast and now she's back at my house hiding out. She wasn't there. I came back to the farm once again I think I just drove by or drove through, or maybe I talked to my sisters. But then I had proceeded to then go to Britain to the grain bin setup. See if there was any sign of her there. When I couldn't find her anywhere, when I was leaving Britain on my way back through in Tecumseh, I called a friend of ours, Officer Paul Wolf for the Tecumseh Police Department.
Okay. And based on that conversation, what did you do next?
I told him what was happening, what I was feeling like, and he said, then you guys need to call the state police.
Okay.
So I got off the phone with him. I called my siblings. I said, hey, this is what Paul said. Can we meet at my house? And we're going to call someone.
All right. Now, prior to leaving the Munger farm, did you have a conversation with Dale, or were you part of a conversation with Dale about potentially calling the police earlier?
I think when we were all in the office and I was still looking at the computer or at the camera stuff on the computer, that had been brought up a couple of times.
Okay. And do you know what his response to that was?
If we haven't heard from her the next day or so, we'll give him a call.
Okay. All right. So you get off the phone with Officer Wolf and you make contact with police?
I made contact with my siblings first. My sister Raquel and my brother TJ and I all met up at my house, and we Googled the state police number. It sent us to a dispatch. The dispatch sent us to the sheriff's department. The sheriff's department said that they would send out a deputy, and I think it was, I can't remember his first name, but Deputy Hall.
Okay. And did you in fact give him a statement?
We did.
All right. And the following day, well, let me back up. Did you have any further conversations with Dale when you were at the farm?
After we had called
Before you called the police, while you were there, and he was in and out of the office, did you have any further conversations with him on the Munger property?
Not that I can recall.
Okay. All right. So When's the next time you come back to the Munger property?
The next morning.
Okay, what time?
I don't know the exact time. It would have been the morning, like starting a regular work day.
So Monday
probably
morning.
somewhere around 9 a.m.
Okay. And what'd you do when you got there?
Usually the first thing that I would do in the mornings was always check the credit card, the company credit card, to both make sure that the truck drivers were able to keep operating and getting fuel and everything off of that card, but also to check to see if there had been any usage on my mom's cards.
Okay. And did you notice anything?
No.
At some point during that day, did you have contact with a detective?
At some point that day, the sheriff detective Greca had reached out to me, called me, and we met up. I had told him that I was planning on going to TLC, our bank, my mom and I's bank, and I was going to see if I could get anybody at TLC to tell me if there had been any activity on my mom's bank account.
Okay. And did you, in fact, meet with Detective Greca at
We did. We
TLC?
met at the Tecumseh branch.
All right. And did you learn if were these accounts that you shared with your mom?
No. Well, my mom and I had a shared account, but my mom had her own personal accounts as well. And then there was a business account there.
Okay.
I was trying to see if TLC would tell me anything about her personal account, not the joint account. The joint account I had access to.
Okay. And did you find anything?
They wouldn't tell us. They told us no, there wasn't any activity on the card or on her cards or her accounts.
Okay. And once you left the bank, what did you do after that?
Detective Greca and I drove separately, but we went back to the farm. He wanted to talk with Dale, so I took him to the farm. When we pulled into the back of the house and we're standing on the back deck. I went into the house to see if Dale was inside, and then I looked out back and you could see Dale in one of the pieces of tillage equipment working in the field. So I called him and said there was a detective here that wanted to talk to him, and Dale came up and spoke with him. When Dale got there, I left. And
you left at that point. Okay.
Yes.
So I kind of forgot to ask you about this big piece. So at some point in time, you lived on the Warner farm at your mom's house?
Several times.
All right. And did you have a bedroom?
I did.
And did you have what was in the bedroom?
Bed, dresser, a safe.
All right. And what was
clothes.
What was the purpose of the safe? Was that just yours, or?
My mom had bought it for me with the intention of her using it.
Okay. So did you both share it, or how did that work?
Kind of. I put what I considered important documents in there, like my birth certificate and my passport that I had. I had put those in there, and Mom was putting cash and whatever other things that she wanted to save in there.
Okay. And to your knowledge, did anybody else have access to that safe?
Just my mom and I.
All right. You're going to approach the witness with People's Proposed Exhibit 23. So I showed you a photograph of a safe. Is that correct?
Yes.
And is that similar to the safe that you owned?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Oh, I apologize. I thought you were, I'm good.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking to Mr. McCreedy.
Yes, I am.
He told me. Good morning, Mr. Bock. I just have a few questions for you today. So you said you had lived at the Munger property with Mr. and Ms. Warner, your mom?
Yes.
About how long did that happen?
There were several times that I had I was in high school, I lived there. I had moved out, and then at some point, probably in, I think it was 2013, 2014, I moved back in. And then again, probably 2017 to 2019, somewhere in there.
So for a number of years, you indicated that you saw fights between your mom and Mr. Warner, and I'm assuming like verbal fights or disagreements, things like that.
Yes.
Would your mom raise her voice at Mr. Warner?
They would raise the voice at each other all the time. Yes.
So raised voices with the two of them verbally arguing. Is that accurate?
Correct.
Was that for pretty much the entirety of the time that you had lived there, or was that a more recent thing?
Most of the time that I lived there, I can't actually remember a time that I didn't hear them fight. The fights definitely got more frequent later, but I think they always had kind of fought.
Okay. So from the start of the relationship, from what you remember, there were verbal arguments and disagreements.
Yes.
Now, when you lived at Munger, did you have, or even when you didn't live there, did you have a key, or was that door locked and you were able to come in?
I had a key, but the doors were never locked. I had a key when, after my mom and Dale had Lena, about every March when Lena's birthday was, they would take Lena down to Florida, and they were usually gone for an extended period of time. And I was the one that would watch the house. So mom had given me a key. It actually happened to be the same key for the office.
When they would go for an extended period of time, would they lock the house or would it be open?
Sometimes they lock it. Sometimes they lock all the doors except for this one door.
And when you would go into the Munger house, just in general, so you're going over to see your mom, would you walk in or would the door be locked?
I just walked in.
When you worked for the companies that you indicated, your job was in finance, is that accurate? So bookkeeping, paying bills, invoices, things like that?
Yes.
Now, did that include paying all the bills, or did you split that with, you referred to her as Stephanie, that's Stephanie Vogel, correct?
Correct.
Did you split that with Stephanie?
Typically, I paid most of the bills, but if I wasn't there and they needed to pay a bill, then Stephanie would pay it.
Did that include things like credit cards, OnStar, car payments, things like that, or was it strictly what we would consider business, so trucking, grain, that kind of stuff?
Both. So we would pay on the credit cards. Mom and Dale had their own personal bank accounts, and personal checks. So those ones that I would say were handwritten checks from their personal accounts, they would pay those themselves. But if it was pertaining to anything with the businesses, then typically we paid it. A lot of their personal expenses were also paid for with business credit cards. So like the OnStar, for instance, I believe was paid for with one of the credit cards.
The business credit cards?
Yes.
And then is this fair to say that your mom essentially would handle a lot of the office staff work and Mr. Warner would handle things that were going on outside of the office? So farming, the chemical company, things like that.
Correct. My mom would handle a lot of the customer stuff for the chemical fertilizer side of things, but Dale did as well.
So your mom would be,
but as far as like the actual like farming day to day, getting in a tractor, that was all Dale. Working with those employees, that was typically all Dale.
That's what I was just going to ask.
Yes.
So if a customer came in or called, that might be your mom. But if it was, plowing a field or planting, that would be Mr. Warner. Is that accurate?
Correct. My mom did. I mean, there was many times growing up that my mom was in a combine or in a piece of equipment driving and doing field work type things. But towards the end there, no.
So
that was all Dale.
She knew how to do it, but
she knew how, but that was not where she wanted to be.
And she also, did she grow up on a farm to your knowledge? And I was with cattle too. Is that something that your mom was interested in?
Yep, she was very involved in the 4-H kids, and we had cows growing up, I think, my whole life.
You had talked about your mom would keep her purse in the car. Is it fair to say your mom would have also cash stuffed in the car as well?
Yes.
Is it fair to say that your mom had money stuffed everywhere?
Yes.
Okay, 'cause that based on prior testimony, you had indicated that. So she'd have it like kind of squirreled away in pockets in the car and clutch and purse and all those sorts of things.
Yes.
And you indicated that it was not surprising to you when your mom would say, or when she did say she wanted to divorce Mr. Warner or leave Mr. Warner, leave the businesses, things like that, because she had said those things before.
Yes.
And had that been going on for a while?
It had become significantly worse the last couple of years. I would say somewhere between 2015 until 2021. It had gotten significantly worse.
And correct me if I'm wrong, would she say it on one day and then 2 days later she would have a different plan? Or
I think the plan was always there, but I think there was always something in her trying to make it work. I know there was always a big fear of.
I'm going to stop you right there, though, only because that goes far afield of my question.
Oh,
so,
sorry.
Okay, no, that's okay. So would the plan change? And if you don't know, it's okay to say no.
I couldn't answer that, no.
Okay. So let me ask you this. If she would say, for instance, on a Monday that she would want to leave, it sounds like for years she would say that, but she wouldn't leave, except for short periods of time. Is that accurate?
Yes.
And you indicated that your mom would leave the house for a day or two, and that was a regular occurrence.
Define regular.
Sure. I guess so. It wasn't surprising to you when she would show up at your house and want to stay there for a day or two?
Well, I mean, it was always a surprise, but I mean, it was one of those things that when it happened, I wasn't like, oh, what are you doing here? It was, oh, okay, hi.
Come on
and
in.
Continue about the day.
Okay. And I guess when I say regular occurrence, I should ask you, in a year's time, how many times do you think she did that?
In a year's time, 10.
And is that pretty much on average, you think?
There would be, I mean, there was times that it was more, there was times that it was less.
Did your mom, you talked about an issue that she had been having with employee, is that accurate?
Yes.
Was that common or uncommon for your mom to have that kind of an issue with a staff member?
To the extent of what this fight was uncommon. She definitely would get into it with the employees about certain things sometimes, but nothing like what this one was. This one was very different.
What about, so she had conflict with Mr. Warner, she had conflict with staff. Again, the last one was more significant. What about other family members? Any conflicts there? Or?
I mean, she'd get into fights with, I think, just about anybody. Mom stood up for what she believed in. And if your opinion was different than hers, then sometimes that wasn't she was gonna have her opinion and you were gonna hear it.
She'd let you know, it sounds like?
She'd let you know.
Okay. In a raised voice, it sounds a little bit?
It could be.
Now, on April 25th, 2021, you indicated that when you arrived, the Hummer you said was in front of the office.
Correct.
Did you use your key to enter the office?
I can't remember if I used my key or if the office was open.
Then correct me if I'm wrong. So, Ms. Saylor, can you put up Exhibit A? And then can you call out or point to where the office is? So, see, it looks like there's like almost like a barn, and then the two doors. Is that where the office is?
Correct. So the right there in the middle of that stretch of barn is the main office door. The door all the way to the right would be going into Todd's office. So I entered through that middle door.
And you don't recall if that door was unlocked or locked?
I can't. I had a key. I could have used my key, but to tell you right now, if I used it, I couldn't tell you.
And I know we're going back almost 5 years. So then you said you went to outside of Terry Nayrink's truck?
Correct.
And you ultimately went inside just to see if his belongings were there. Where was that truck parked?
So that behind the house, the barn that's directly behind the house there,
Is
See,
that,
there's,
I don't want to interrupt, but for a minute, is that what the fertilizer barn?
that would be the dry fertilizer barn.
Okay, the
yes.
dry fertilizer barn. Can you zoom in on that, Ms. Taylor?
So to the left of that barn there, you can see a semi-trailer, just the trailer. His truck was essentially parked right there.
And then that's where you went and took a look and you ran into Mr. Warner.
I ran into Mr. Warner right, there's a concrete slab that is right in front of the barn, I guess I'd say. And that's where I ran into Dale.
So when you were outside looking at Mr. Nahrink's truck, did you hear the sprayer in the background?
I don't recall.
Would looking at a copy of your preliminary examination transcript help refresh your memory?
Sure.
Thank you. Ms. Taylor, would you go to page 44, please? Did that refresh your memory, Mr. Bock?
Yes.
Thank you. So I should, did you hear the sprayer when you were at Mr. Nahrink's truck?
To tell you today, I can't tell you that. At the time, I very well could have. But once again, telling you that today, that was 5 years ago.
You don't dispute that. You testified under oath that you did hear it though, correct?
I don't dispute that.
And just to be clear, the sprayer is a piece of farm equipment,
Yes.
pretty big green color.
Yes.
And then it sprays, for some people who didn't grow up on a farm, it sprays chemicals and fertilizer and things like that.
Yes.
Does it have a distinctive sound?
It almost has like a humming sound to it.
A sound that you recognized having
Yes.
sort of grown up on the farm?
Yep.
Thank you. Now, when you saw ultimately Mr. Warner, he asked you if you really didn't know where your mom is, correct?
Correct.
I have no additional questions. Thank you.
So you were asked if it was common for your mom to take off for a night or two, correct?
Yes.
Had you ever called 911 or called the police to report your mom missing prior to the 25th of April 2021?
No, never.
Okay. And have you talked to your mom since April 24th, 2021?
No.
Okay. You talked about your mom was expressing her frustration with this employee situation at the business on Friday night, Saturday night. Which one was it?
So if the 25th was the Sunday, then the 24th.
The 24th. Okay. And was it, was the fight about an employee, or was it about the way Dale was responding to Dee that angered her?
Objection calls for hearsay unless Mr. Bock was present for the argument.
If you know.
So the fight with the employee was actually about
Wait.
We need to establish a foundation before he's going to testify about this.
Yeah. Okay. Were you present for any of the fight?
No.
Okay. All right. When you were on the farm on the 25th, where were you at when Dale asked you if your mom was really at your house?
We were standing on that concrete pad in front of that barn.
Okay, so that was almost immediately that you were asked that.
Yes.
All right. And during this conversation, did you ask Dale if he looked in the caddy at all?
I can't recall exactly what all we had talked about. There was a couple of questions that he had asked me. One, if I knew where mom was and everything when we were standing there on that concrete slab. I hadn't been in the house, but whatever reason, we had said something that made me want to go to the office.
Okay.
That's why I had gone to the office rather than walking into the house. So the both of us had actually walked down to the office together.
Okay.
I mean, not, side by side, but he was right behind me and we walked into the office together at the same time.
Do you remember if at the office or when you guys met out on that concrete pad, did you guys talk about money taken from the safe?
There was a conversation about money taken from the safe. I believe it would have been about that same time because the only time that we had talked otherwise was inside the office, and that was about the ring.
Okay. And what did Dale tell you?
That there was a bunch of money taken from the safe inside the house.
Okay. And did he give you an amount?
He did, but I can't recall the exact number. It was a big number because I remember being very upset about the fact that they had as much money in the safe in the house that they did when I was struggling to be able to pay the bills for the company.
Okay. When you say big number,
I don't know if he told me 100,000, but 100,000 is the number that's coming to mind.
okay. All right. I have nothing further.
Nothing additional. Thank you.
Council approval, please.
Yes.
All right, we did get two questions from the jury. I have reviewed those with counsel. It's my understanding that counsel has a little agreement with asking both of those questions. Is that accurate?
That's correct, Your Honor.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Bock, so the first question is, any animosity between Dale and Zach before Dee went missing?
Yes.
The second question is, how was the relationship between Dale and Zach prior to Dee missing?
We spoke about work-related things, and that was it.
All right, Ms. Wise, any further questions for Mr. Bock based on those questions?
Yes. You indicated that there was some tension between you and Dale after your mom went missing.
Yes.
Wasn't the question before?
It was both.
So the first question was, any animosity between Dale and Zach before Dee went missing? The second question was, how was the relationship between Dale and Zach prior to Dee missing?
Oh, I apologize. I thought one was after. Okay, I have nothing further, Your Honor.
I have nothing. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any further questions? And again, don't flip them out. Just raise your hand if any of the jurors would like to ask additional questions. Okay. Not seeing any positive responses. Can we excuse Mr. Bock from his subpoena at this point?
I would reserve the right to recall him.
Okay. So, Mr. Bock, you will still then be subject to the sequestration order. Have you received a copy of that?
Yes.
Okay. So you need to continue to abide by that until you're notified that you're released from it. Okay. You can go ahead and step down.
Can you just clarify, is the prosecutor indicating that he may be called in rebuttal?
Correct.
Okay, sure. I just didn't know if there was going to be a.
No.
Okay.
No.
So then that would prevent him from being here then for the number of weeks. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
It wouldn't, I'm going to make my argument.
Okay.
All right, so let's break for lunch and we'll resume again at 1:30 p.m. So maybe we try to be here just before and we'll do our best to get started this spring.
Okay, so you need. Right.
I don't have any color to say about that right now. You don't
Okay,
have to-
okay.
I'm not doing that. If something in there- I understand.
Alrighty then, we are back. They've muted that, so there's no audio here. I'm guessing this is where we stop, and I will continue for sure tonight. And I will, a few hours before I come on, I will make sure I have everything kind of figured out. So I will drop my email in chat, and if you guys have any suggestions as to those missing things, let me know, because basically it's I guess anything that happened before day one, if there's anything interesting, and anything so the rebuttal, the prosecution was up on the opening statements, then the defense went, and then so the rebuttal, the prosecution always does a rebuttal to the opening statements. I think we missed that. That was at 11:20 in the morning on day one. And whatever happened in the afternoon, if there was another witness before this guy, Zachary, and something about a juror being caught on camera and getting pissed. So I think that's what we missed on day one. So whoever was before this guy, Zach, is a witness. Sound like when they started this, they said their next witness. So there was somebody we missed on day one in the afternoon. And a juror was caught on camera. And so I'm pausing it here. So I'll stop it at 1:05:08 and we'll continue. So I'm going to put my email in chat if you guys are looking into it at all. If not, I'll probably figure it out. But not until I go to sleep later. But this is all going to work out. I'm keeping track of it all. NHL, CRBC. Okay, there's my email. If you guys think of anything, send it to me and I'll check. But it's actually pretty easy this way. But we're just watching video, right? When all the documents are so much harder, this will be a little easier. So if there's anything before day one that was interesting, if you see it, let me know. The opening statements, the rebuttal, the prosecution's rebuttal to the opening statements, and the afternoon, there was probably another witness or two before this Zachary kid, your son Zachary, and the juror getting caught on camera. And we'll come on back tonight, 11 p.m., maybe earlier, because doing this, so much less stress. Not that I was really preparing that much before, but And also, if you guys ever have any suggestions, like if you want to watch a day of, and also get the documents and kind of go through any important documents before we move on, or we watch the trial and then we go back and kind of read it to get the details more and the depositions or anything important. So I'll try and take note of any important things, any which way you guys suggest. We just watch it all the way through, or we watch a day and then we get documents and read some documents if you want. I'm totally open. At least we're going to do this in order at least, and I'm going to keep track of it. So, all right, guys, I'll see you tonight, all right? Have a great day, and thanks for being here. Bye.
Ladies, pop your pussy like this. Shake your body, don't stop, don't miss. All you ladies, pop your pussy like this. Shake your body, don't stop, don't miss. Just do it, 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 do it now. Lick it good, suck this just like you should. Right now, lick it good, suck this just like you should. My neck,
you just touched Christy Boyer's hoo-hoo.
Shippy!
Low five. Yeah.
Let's get out of here.